Yes, people. Today I just want to speak to you and encourage you concerning the fact that we are to stop letting all these vegetables into the country. It is a very bad situation. It's a very poor situation on our part because we are importing things in the country that we can produce ourselves. The other bad thing with that situation is that you are sending millions of dollars to countries like the United States to buy things that you can produce yourself. It is a shame when you go to places like Taiwanese with fertile lands, with rivers where you can harness the water for irrigation, but yet these places are abandoned, and yet we're importing things that we can be producing in those places. All across the country, you have places with abandoned lands, but we are importing things that we can produce. It has become such a bad situation now that the people that we know to be farmers, the people that we know have the ability to produce these very vegetables and other foods, they are leaving the land and going to cast trees to work security jobs. Security jobs for $3 an hour, whereas they could be making money on their farms. This is madness and blindness. And if these things are happening, that tells you that whoever it is that we have as Minister of Agriculture should not be paid. Because it did not just happen over one year. This thing has been happening over many years, over decades, to the extent now that people who are able to produce are actually leaving the land and going to the cities to work security jobs for very little money. That is how bad it is now. But we continue importing those things that we can actually produce. Now, I was looking at an article from something called The Loop. It's the Loop News. And in this case, they are saying that in their headlines, St Lucia working with Taiwan to reduce food import bill. This is a joke. And this is an old article from 2019. But why does it have to take a foreign country like Taiwan to come here and teach us how to reduce import bills? But there is a reason for that. The thing is, we have professionals, we have experts within the Ministry of Agriculture who have over many decades been telling the same government that we can actually do those things and this is what we have to do to get it done. But yet, they do not listen to the experts. The other thing is, if you have to look back, just go back and check yourself. Look at the amount of reports that has been produced by different technocrats from the country. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Reports upon reports upon reports of how to produce so that you can reduce on the amount of money that you will spend. Our own experts have been telling us that for many decades, but yet they do not listen. So what happens is they always prefer for somebody from another country to come and tell them what it is that you've been telling them all along. L'idée c'est moun sa c'est ki moun mi se kwa yi export la yo ni a pays yo pa ka men respecte yo. Pa man mi se man, c'est kon yo ka parler. Mais right now yo ka parler about many Taiwanese vini pour mouchezo manye pour vendre tomatoes. Est-ce ça pas honte? Est-ce pas ça pas un site dans pays? Dat zone moun qui sa mouchezo manye pour faire ça. Mais on a fait moun vini sort juste Taiwan pour venir mouchezo ici à manye pour vendre tomatoes. Exopani pièce honte. On a juste fait pour media mettre ça dans les newspaper pour Taiwanese venir sur Taiwan venir mouchezo manière pour planter tomatoes et manière pour vendre tomatoes. Et moun export en pays à Cadizo ça 40-50 years. Exo ba coûter rien. Yo ka coûter yo ka dit ça. Ni politicien ni gouvernement flambeau ni gouvernement Leba. Zo ba coûter rien ça export zo ka dit ça. Raison zo ka faire ça. Because c'est moun qui ka bay zo l'argent pour courir élection à dans ces moun ça ka mener même ces bagay ça vient te tomatoes like ces bagay là. So zo pa vle vin en we ces moun nan. C'est pour ça que je fais ça. So ka pige rôle en pays pour gens autres faire l'argent. So actuellement je parle about many Taiwanese pour venir planter tomatoes 2019. C'est by Ezekiel qui là. Mais nous pas blâmer Ezekiel because la technique avant Ezekiel était en gouvernement même c'est magie ça de café. So on this slide here we see millions of dollars are being spent sending overseas for vegetables and other foods, things that can be produced in their own country. But here we highlight $1 million a year. $1 million on lettuce alone. Lettuce. $1 million nous ka spend St Lucia. Voyez l'autre pays pour lettuce. Pas de moins St Lucia en dans pays qui n'y autant femmes autant terre that zopaha nous pas ça produce lettuce. That nous ka voyer $1 million l'autre pays tous les l'année because of lettuce nous pas faire ici. Est-ce ça pas honte? Est-ce ça pas honte? Mais c'est ba ça ni pour changer. C'est ba ça ni pour changer. Tous ces moun nan nous ni ka quitter plantation nan ka fait security castry pour $3 par année de temps. Nous ni combien de femmes qui ça fait ça et nous ka croiser femmes nous tellement that femmes nous ni pour castry travail security pour $3 par année de temps. Et yo ça fait combien là ka vendre lettuce. Mais l'autre bail là c'est ça. A de là quitter ou ay planter lettuce pour vendre. Et que yo ka mener combien container lettuce vinn dans pays ya. Et qu'on pas vendre yon tête lettuce. So a de là ka wè moun castry ka vendre combien lettuce pour rien même. Because même ces moun nan ka do planter ya, yo même ka signer document pour ces gens yo amener ça en pays ya. So this whole thing about the tomato vibes coming in here from overseas and all these things coming in, this is not new. That is old news. As I told you a while ago, just go to the Ministry of Agriculture and you will see, if they would let you search, you will see the amount of old reports 50 years down coming where different experts, different people from the country showing and telling them what to do to cut down the importation of those things, but they don't want to listen. By là c'est ça qui mon ko yé et yo ça fait Jean yo mène c'est même c'est bay ça entoué et yo même ça draw comme là pour partir ou whatever it is là yo ka goumé pour c'est pas pour c'est moun ka goumé pour peuple encore moun ka goumé pour go là yo. So you need right now we're talking about we need Taiwanese. We need Taiwanese to come and show us how to wipe our backsides. Really, that's what it is. Because if it is that you're going to want Taiwanese to come and show you how to produce these vegetables to export, it is to me tantamount to bringing Taiwanese here to show you how to wipe your backside. It's the same thing it means. Okay? Now, the reason that is happening, as I told you, is because do not confuse yourself. The reason why that is happening is because the people that are bringing in these tomatoes and these vegetables in the country to sell to these hotels and these other places, are the friends of the politicians. These are the fellas that when the campaign comes, sometimes them fellas give $100,000 for the campaign. And their loyalty and their payback is to let them behave as if they do not know that you have these things on the ground. I was in a meeting one time when the guy that is responsible for signing the document to let the tomatoes and the vegetables come from overseas, he said that he does not know how much tomatoes and those things are underground, whereas the government paying a lot of extension officers thousands of dollars a month just to find out those things, to work with the farmers, but yet their boss, the fella that have all the information, saying he does not know. So you see how the cocoa macaque thing taking place. The other thing that is causing these things to happen is these hotels that you have here, these big hotels coming here. When they come and establish themselves in the country, they write in nice proposals, and on the news and on everything they're telling you they will be employing X amount of people. They will be employing bartenders, housekeeping people. The other thing they tell you is that they'll be buying the produce from local farmers. We need to hold these people accountable. C'est hôtel ça ka vini en les prémices that you can acheter from les farmers. Ek an chay di le, you can acheter yon de ti bagay from farmers, make go container bagay you ka vini from lot pays. Ek nun pou vin revisiter loi se moun sa. Loi no CX se moun sa. Look at them people original proposals where they said they were going to buy most of their produce from the local farmers, and they reach a point where they're not buying most of their local produce from the local farmers. We have to see to it that these people hold on to these things. You understand? So then what situation we're in now? One of the things we can do, because we cannot just be talking and doing nothing. One of the things that we do the most in these places is we talk and we take no action. So here's a solution to some of these problems, to make those people really take people seriously in the place. You need to stop buying tomatoes and vegetables from them supermarkets that you have locally. Stay without it for a while. And we need to create a situation where you only buy your tomatoes from the local farmers. Now we know places like CFL and those places, they buy a substantial amount of tomatoes from the local farmers and so on. We know that they do that. There are certain things they buy from the local farmers. But we have to make sure that we can guarantee that whatever it is that we buy coming from local farmers, and if it is that any of those things are coming from overseas, we don't buy them in them stores. And we need to have a situation too where people need to go more to the local markets and purchase from the local farmers too. And the local farmers too, and the weavers, say muna yo ka kwe weavers la. I don't say weavers la ka van buy your torche. So according to the like we please cheap wash from supermarket la pite say weavers la. So these things we have to revisit. But ultimately what we want is, we want a situation where the only time some of them vegetables can come to the country is deep in the rainy season, where if we have a problem producing in the rainy season, then you can let them things come in. But apart from that, on the normal occasions, none of them things not supposed to be coming in. And we're going to do our part to make sure once it is not produced here, we do not buy it. Yeah, we talk too much and we do not take action. So what I'm trying to say is, too many millions of dollars are leaving the country and going to these places, whereas we can be producing them ourselves. We have lands that is not occupied. Lands where farmers used to be producing very fertile lands, some of them by the rivers. And nothing is being produced there because some of the farmers have been frustrated producing and they cannot sell. And the other thing is, we have lost some of our good farmers leaving the land and going and work security for $3 an hour. That thing has to change. We cannot take our human resources that have been trained in farming, something that we need in the country, and let them go and do security work for $3 an hour. That thing has to stop. Keep the fire burning. Those that say they come and represent, those that want to represent, and those that will come in the future to represent, bear those things in mind. We need to gainfully employ our farmers. We need to make sure that we stop sending all these millions of dollars to America for things we can produce locally. We do not have we do not have petroleum. We do not have many of the resources that are the resources and minerals that are of high value and demand in the world. What we have is the land that we can work and the things that we can produce. These are things that we can do. We cannot compete with other places in certain things, but at the least we can produce some of our own vegetables and stop buying those things and stop sending money that we need overseas. These things have to stop. These things have to change. Keep the fire burning.